Okay, it's recording. Right, Shalom,
Shalom.
giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem,
Yahweh
Shai, Bahashem,
Bahashem,
Kadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. And Shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. I'm the brother Kalab, and I'm joined with the brother Amina Wa'ala, and we're here to do another lesson, and Lord willing, it's edifying, to the hopeful elect and the 1/3. So the topic of today's lesson is going to be systemic racism and how Jake has been deceived. And we're going to talk about a few issues that tie into, the current state of Jake in this society. How Jake usually ends up getting the shit end of the stick in every situation. And we're going to bring out some articles and go into how situations have been manipulated into getting Jake to accept values and ideals that don't necessarily align with the laws, statutes, and commandments, thinking that they're doing a good thing in this world, right? So yeah, we kick off with the first clip.
So this first video here is
did you want to say anything on this as well? Go ahead.
Yeah, Khan. Yeah, so this first video here that we're going to show you is on systemic racism, because for a very long time Jake has been playing a very uneven game, not playing with a full deck, for lack of better words, and in comparison to our Edomite counterparts. And you wonder why a lot of Jake Jake men end up on road selling drugs in the jail, or in the grave, or you got our women being sluts and whores, playing the field, and just ultimately, no matter how hard Jake works, they just never seem to. Is that they're capped. They can only go so far, and that's not very far. Even when you think about when you go to when you be in the hood, man, and you see like these businesses and stuff, you can have Moab with the acupuncture business. They can be open 8 till 2 p.m., 8 till 4, 12 till 5, and they'll have enough money to pay the bills, keep the lights on, and be able to sustain themselves. But then you got you go to the hood, and you see these Jake communities. You got these like the hair shops, the hair salons, for example. They be open from like 9 in the morning, and you can come back 1 in the morning, in some cases, and they're still open, man. And that despite them working all those hours, they're struggling to keep the lights on. They're struggling to make ends meet, but why is it not the same with when it comes to these other nations, man? So this video here is it's going to speak about systemic racism, but in the educational aspect. But I mean, the same rules applies across various different aspects in our everyday lives, man. So before we play any of these videos, I'm just going to say fair use. We ain't profiting at all from any of the videos that we're playing, or this video that we're making now. This is purely based, purely for educational purposes only. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and play the first video.
Right.
The first time I really understood systemic racism as a teacher was when I was teaching middle school, and we were looking at 8th grade test data. And what that 8th grade test data showed us was that the bottom 50 scores for both math and reading were overwhelmingly Black and Hispanic boys. Now that in and of itself should have been a major red flag, because the school was predominantly white. And so what we saw was that Black and Hispanic boys were significantly disproportionately represented in that bottom 50 test scores. But it got even more interesting when we unpacked the behavior data, because what we found was that Black and Hispanic boys were also disproportionately punished for vague behavior infractions, things like insubordination subordination. And that imbalance in punishment was in both volume and severity. Now, here's where we're going to draw the connection. Because when you disproportionately punish student groups and take them out of class for longer than their peers, it's unsurprising that they're also underperforming in the classroom. Those two things are related. And so it's really important that we talk about systemic racism in education, because just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And the consequences of systemic racism in education are very real and life-altering for the students that it impacts.
Did you hear the last thing she said? She said systemic racism, the impacts of systemic racism are very real and life impacting, or something to that effect. So
yeah.
Although it starts off innocently in the school system, it actually continues on throughout our lives, man. Which is why, again, Jake don't really have much options, man. When you go to an Edomite community, they have opportunities to become doctors, architects,
lawyers,
forensics, computer science, programmers. The list goes on. All right, but then when you go to the hood now, you see Jake. The only options they really feel they have to rise out the hood is to either sell drugs, become a rapper, or become a fraudster,
or become an athlete.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, or become an athlete. I was thinking that. I was meant to say footballer as well. That's really the only way Jake so-called makes it out of the hood. And even then, he's got, if he's an athlete, a footballer, he still has Esau above him anyway. He's calling the shots. Like when Jake get into the boxing careers, man. Like for example, you got Eddie Hearn and you got Anthony Joshua, man. Eddie Hearn don't give a shit about Anthony Joshua, man. When Anthony Joshua was in his prime, he was just putting money in his pocket, man. That's all it was, and it's always been that way. You go to the music industry. How many cases do you hear of Jake? They've made hits, man. They've made hits, number one singles, albums, whatever the case may be, and then they come out and tell you that they didn't make a damn penny from that song because of the deal that they had signed. So that goes to show you that the curses are still very much alive to this day.
Heavily upon us.
I mean, they're lightening up, but we still feel the brunt of these curses, man. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 54. And Baba Kushar, if you want to interject at any time, feel free.
Yeah, can't.
All right. 2nd Ezra 6 and 54 says, and after these, Adam also, who thou madest Lord of all thy creatures. Now, because when you go to the book of Genesis, you had a line, right, or a nation of people at the time known as the Adamites, all right, which today would translate into the Israelites. All right, so when you go to precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. So if we just quickly go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6, it says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Now, this is talking about the Israelites, because remember, the Bible is a book written by the Israelites for the Israelites. Or that holy people, that special people unto himself, is talking about the nation of Israel, right? One more precept just to compound the point.
So I got one for you when you finished as well.
Do you want to bring yours out now?
Okay, this is Deuteronomy 28 verse 19. It says, cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. So basically, when you're an Israelite, no matter what situation you go into or come out of, you're going to be cursed. So young Jake males, because they said, was it Negro and Hispanic boys
Which
were
is all the tribes.
disproportionately getting very low scores on their reading and writing. That's because when young Jake goes into that education system, they're already cursed from the start. So, being aware of who we are and what we're under in terms of the curses gives us a better understanding of how to navigate through whatever situations we may find ourselves in. But a lot of the parents who are sending their children into the public education system, they've got no clue who they are as a people.
Right.
They're thinking they're black or Latino or Mexican or whatever it is, and they're thinking in the wrong mind frame, in the sense that they're thinking that they're going to get an equal opportunity or an equal footing with the so-called Edomite. Esau's in his blessing, and the Elamite children or the Moabite children, they're doing all right because they're the other nations. They're not under the curses like we are. So it's no surprise that those children get a better foundation and a more stable start in terms of their schooling than the Israelite childhood. We're starting from 10 steps behind and always having to play catch up. And that's not to say that Jake can't do it, because when Jake applies himself and understands what he's doing, he can surpass all these other nations, because Deuteronomy 7:6, we're special people unto the Most High. We've got a power that we can tap into if we, come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments, and we can surpass all these other nations. But Esau doesn't want us to know that. That's right. How he keeps us at the bottom.
Can't. And, it goes deep, because as you said, and I'm glad you said it, it's not that Jake can't reach these positions that their Edomite counterparts, Moabite counterparts, Elamite counterparts have reached, because Jake can. However, they have to work twice, if not 10 times harder than the other nations would have to do. I remember in my old job, I was trying to get into a managerial position, and look, I'm not, I say this humbly, man. My application, my supporting information, everything I put on was top dollar, man. And I know it was top dollar because I got an Edomite to help me with it as well. Not even to help me, because it was really me, but just to glance over it, add their little 2 cents. All right. And they was, really, dumbfounded by it themselves. I got the interview and everything. And I remember the day of the interview, man. There was this particular Edomite chick that used to work at that place. And the moment I saw her car driving in, I was like, yeah, she's definitely going for this interview, the same interview I'm about to have as well. And the moment I saw her, I'm like, I ain't got the job. Not because I don't believe in myself, but because I know how this shit goes. And again, even I don't really like the whole, applying for jobs and doing interviews, but you got to do what you got to do, Yeah. And, long story short, I didn't get the job. But I mean, when I got the feedback, they didn't really have anything bad to say. The only thing they said was what they tried to get me on is, doing these extracurricular courses and training programs to give me the skills and make it look more attractive on the CV. But then you got this Edomite bitch who ain't had to do none of that, and she just walks in and gets the job. Does hands in a sloppy application, and I got word that the interview she did was pants, but she still got the job. So that goes to show you that we are under the curses. But as the brother Kalab said, you've got Jake walking into this world, and they don't even know who they are, right? So the precept for that is Hosea 4:6. Nobody to know who the enemy is. That's why Jake be killing each other, right? Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power I will also forget thy children. That's why you see majority of Israelites are just destitute, man. Just left to their own vices, left to their own filthy lusts, ultimately left to their own destruction, man. It's because they're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Look, make it make sense. Here it is. You live in a world of systemic racism, all right? You know that the white man ain't never done anything good for you, okay? You've always had to, in order for you to fit into certain places, you've always had to let certain things slide. You get the one cheeky Edomite that get a bit comfortable around you, think you can start saying nigga around you and shit, start making certain black jokes, quote unquote black jokes, all right, and you just have to put up with it because you know that he's in power, man. But you somehow believe that your savior is a so-called white man. That you guys are bugged out, man. Here it is, the white man's oppressing you every single day of your life, but you think your salvation is going to come from a white man.
You know what they'll turn around and say to you if you say that? They'll say, "Oh, but color doesn't matter."
Why does it
matter?
Yeah, fucking bullshit, man.
Rehearsing the lines that our enemy has told us. See, Esau told us that color doesn't matter, but yet he still discriminates.
That's right.
I've got a precept for you.
Go ahead.
This is Proverbs 29, verse 7. It says, "The righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regardeth not to know it." So in them public school systems, it's evident that Jake is underperforming, but a lot of the people who run those schools, they don't really give a shit. They turn a blind eye to it, and they don't offer any hope or solution to the situation. They're just like, oh, whatever. There's typical niggas, there's typical Hispanics, you know, they're just underachievers, they're unruly, they're disruptive. They've got, what do they call it?
ADHD.
Yeah, attention deficit, all this kind of rubbish. When the fact of the matter is that when I was a boy at school, this was very evident. The Jake children were more active than the Edomite children. And when I say active, like, I mean, when it came to like sports and running, we'd run faster than the Edomites, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Came to fighting, we'd be more, you know, getting into scraps and brawls and, you know, just being more, I don't want to say manly because we were children, but like, you know, being boisterous.
Yeah.
You know, rather than just sitting still, you know, completely still, stiff as a board and just absorbing whatever teacher says. You know, we preferred to actually be active and do stuff. Now, there's different methods of learning. Yes, you can have people sitting still in a classroom regurgitating whatever teacher says, but some people learn through activity.
Right.
And Jake children, you know, if you give them physical activities to do and you can incorporate the play into learning, they will tend to do better. But we're basically put into a system an education system which favors feminine traits. Because if you notice, girls, they'll tend to just sit there and just absorb whatever the authority figure says.
Right.
That's why girls tend to score better in in school, in the public school system, because it caters to a more effeminate spirit, effeminate spirit rather than a masculine spirit. And she even said in her little thing, what was the word she used, if I can recall it correctly?
What, insubordination?
Yeah, like, you know, questioning authority kind of thing. I can't remember the exact word she used, but we'll just go with that. You know, that's a masculine trait. You know what I'm saying? And that's the funny, another thing as well, in these public school systems, nowadays it's predominantly women that are the teachers. And what do the scriptures say? I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence.
Ouch.
Now, young Jake, on a fundamental level, kind of understands that, which is why he's gonna buck up against, you know, a female teacher that's probably talking some bullshit. Not to say that they should, but that's just the nature of what being a young man is. Whereas if it was a stern man in that role, like, look, this is the lesson today. we're going to do the maths, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, he'll be more likely inclined to listen to that. I mean, these seem like simple things, but there's really a spiritual component to everything. And, it's kind of easy to see why Jake is underachieving, because, as I say, part of that spiritual component is us being under the curses.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right, man. So let's go back to 2nd Ezra 6. We'll keep reading on down. All right, because even our forefathers, man, they asked the Lord the same thing. Oh, but yeah, just before we do that, I wanted to bring this out as well. Psalms 147 and verse 19 says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So the Lord is not dealing with any of these other nations, man. But then it's like, well, if that's the case, why is the system the way it is? Well, remember, we, beginning with Eve, we went off, man. We sinned against the Heavenly Father. When you read the scriptures, man, it's just a constant cycle of, us being put in captivity. We then remember our power. The Lord delivers us. Oh, we're praising Yahweh Bashim Yashai, reverencing him, and then eventually we get stuck back in the same cycle, start worshiping other gods, and then back into captivity, and the cycle continues, man. So that's the reason why we're in this position that we're in now. Not because, oh yeah, God just hates us. All right, really, he loves us, man. Okay, but we're just on punishment right now. It's just like you have a child, they're misbehaving, you put them on punishment. You're not putting them on punishment because you hate them. You put them on punishment because you love them, and ultimately you want the best for them.
Yeah.
All right? So reading on in 2nd Ezra 6 and hold on, let me just see what 54 says. Let me just read 54 again, and then I'll read on, right? It says, and after these Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. So you see, there's a separation. There's the other nations, and then there's the chosen nation. All right. Verse 55 says, all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes, not for Esau, not for Moab, not for Elam, not for Ammon, not for Cush, certainly not for them goddamn Hamites, man. Okay, the world is made for our sakes. Okay, verse 56 says, if you'll get me there, here we go. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and as likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel, man. Imagine you carrying a big bucket of water, and then a little drop comes out, little droplets come out. You ain't gonna go try to suck it up off the floor, are you? Well, because it's insignificant. But that's how the Heavenly Father perceives these other nations. Even though when you see the current situation we're in now, you'd think the contrary, right? Verse 57, we've got 2 more verses. And now, O Lord, behold these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. Devour us. That goes into your systemic racism. All right. That goes into the first one's fired, last one's hired. All right? That goes into Jacob and Esau committing the exact same crime, but Jacob's going to serve life in jail and Esau going to be out in 6 months. Or you know what? He ain't even going to spend time. All right. He's just going to be, oh, yeah, he just had mental health issues.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he had a troubled childhood. We all had a fucking troubled childhood, man. When you see Jake, all around the world, man, the shit we've had to go through in our childhood, man, we still bear the wounds of slavery, man.
Yep.
That's why you got bugged out Jake out there. We still bear the wounds of slavery because we because of the spirit, man. Okay, the scriptures say how the spirit maketh intercession for us, groaning that we cannot even utter, man. Talking about he had a troubled child. Get the fuck out of it, man. Verse 58, but we thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. Verse 59, if the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? And this is the very same question we are asking today. How long shall this endure? Because with having the systemic racism, with having the heathens in a position of rulership, all right, the next segment of what we're going to get into is what is a result of these things being put into place. Because remember, we just read Psalms 147. All right, he have not dealt so with any other nation. He showed his laws and his statutes unto Jacob. These other nations don't know how to rule righteously because they weren't given the laws. We Israelites were given the laws. So now with all of this put into place, you have the next segment of this video, man. So I'm gonna hand it over to Kalab. I don't know which direction you wanna go first, but I'll let you do your thing, man.
All right, let me just read this precept and now I'll get into it. This is Isaiah, because this backs up your point. Isaiah 1, starting at verse 6 says,
Beautiful.
From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. So the wounds and the sores come from the way Jake has been treated by these other nations. We've been in captivity under all these other nations, but we are still yet this day in our captivity, according to Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8. And rather than the other nations trying to restore or heal us as a people, they've done nothing but try and keep us in a destroyed and impoverished state. So Jake really has been dealt a bad hand in terms of the cards we have to play in this life, and we have to work twice as hard just to keep our head above water compared to these other nations. Now what I wanted to get into next is Jake seems to understand that there is an issue. They don't understand the full depths of it because they don't know the scriptures, but they do know that that something's not right. We're not really getting a fair deal here. So what in the past few years of the Biden administration, they had put forth this thing called diversity, equity, and inclusion, which was allegedly to try and give people who might be from a more disadvantageous situation an extra helping hand in terms of getting employment and jobs. Now, Jake is simple and stupid. What they did with that is they used that as a way to give people from so-called marginalized communities a leg up, or a helping hand. But really what it was is it was used to put certain people in certain positions. So for example, if you put on your application form, because if you notice when you do your application forms, we're not in America, but they still do it over here, but not to the same extent. It will ask you about your sexual orientation. It will ask you about your religion. It will ask you about your ethnicity. And then what they'll do is they'll give the job to the person who fits
the most bugged out.
Yeah, it ends up being the most bugged out people. But basically, like they say, okay, we've got, let's say there's a office of 10 people. Let's say they've got 9 heterosexual people. Then they'll be like, okay, we need to get a homosexual on the team, or we need to get a transgender on the team.
Hey, we got to speak in code to like about you call them modes or alphabets, or you know how E gets down, man.
For the advice. I should be careful with my words. Let me rephrase that. So they'll get someone from the alphabet community on the team. Now, there's something I want to read here. What's been happening recently is Donald Trump's been making a lot of executive orders, and there's been so many that have been coming out that it's hard to keep up with.
Right.
But he's been doing some cool things actually, though. Even though he's the devil and the enemy, some of the things he's been doing, we can commend, because it kind of validates the scriptures in some ways. But he's still Esau. He's still going to be the devil. But this is from the White House website on one of his executive orders about this DEI thing. It says illegal DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion.
So, like, just before you continue, can you post that link so I can share?
Okay.
Yeah.
Bear me a second.
Yeah.
Do you have a link there from whitehouse.gov? Did I already post it, or do I need to?
I do. Is it the ending racial indoctrination?
No. Forgive me. That's another one. Let me post this one if I can. Give me a second.
Yeah, no worries.
Bear me a second. There we go.
And this is the thing, man. The scriptures say, man, if Satan be divided against Satan, how then can his kingdom stand, man? So, we're that much closer to the end, because as the brother Kalab is getting into, a lot of the stuff that Trump is saying is righteous, and we agree, but not everyone on that land, and a large portion of the people in that land don't agree with what he's saying. You got it.
Right. So so this is from the whitehouse.gov, which is the official, White House website. It says ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity. If you scroll down, well, what was I going to read it from? So it's hard to see on my screen here. Hang on. There we go. It says illegal DEI and DEIA policies not only violate the text and spirit of our long-standing federal civil rights laws, because this all goes back to and this ties into what I'm going to bring it into in connection with Jake's fight for civil rights, back in the days of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Esau kind of has pacified Jake to make them feel like, oh, we're for you, we're not your enemy. Esau doesn't show his hatred the way he used to. He conceals it behind fake smiles and political correctness. So but Jake still feels like Jake in his spirit still knows that we're at a disadvantageous opportunity. So what they've done is they've tied in you so-called, blacks, Latinos, Hispanics in with the alphabet movement, into they've hitched your wagon to the alphabet movement, and now they're giving, homosexual, forgive me, moles opportunities, and cross-dressers opportunities, and you're still getting left behind. But you thought this initiative was for you, when it's not really, So it's kind of cool that Donald Trump's ending it. So it says ending illegal DEI and DEIA policies that not only violate the text and spirit of our long-standing federal civil rights laws, they also undermine our national unity as they deny, discredit, and undermine traditional American values of hard work, excellence, and individual achievement in favor of unlawful, corrosive, and pernicious identity based spoils systems. Right? So, what it is, how can you ever be happy going for a job, right? And let's say you do get the job, but they only employ you because you're the token Negro there. You know, they're not really looking at your academic achievements or whatever achievements or skills you may have honed and developed. You're just getting employed because you fill a checkbox. Is that really a good thing? No, because then what you end up getting is people who aren't qualified for the positions they're being put into these positions. You know, and it's, you know, that's not a good thing, generally speaking. But I want to tie this more into the they've tied the civil rights movement that Jake went through with the LGBTQ community's so-called fight for their civil rights. So now, if you're you know, if you're a simple Jake in the world and you're championing things like what is it, Black Lives Matter, that the Black Lives Matter movement done this, where okay, you're out there, let's say you're protesting, you've got all these people around you waving these rainbow flags and everything else, and you're somehow supposed to be in line with them. You can't be in line with them. You're supposed to be against them because you're an Israelite. And what do the scriptures say? Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. So we can't have no fellowship with, you know, these other communities. But the leaders of these movements, they're tying it all in together. Now, it's been really cool because what Donald Trump has done, President Donald Trump has done, he's been undoing a lot of the aggressive activist activity that's been taking place for years, which has stopped people from speaking out about some of the real injustices in the world. For example, you got these he-she's entering into women's spaces and entering into women's sports, and you've got people who won't challenge it because they're not speaking the truth. They've turned around and said things like a trans woman is a woman, which flies in the face of all logic and all biological truth. But for years we've had to accept it and not say anything about it, because if you did say anything about it, you'd be labeled as, you know, hate speech or bigoted. So therefore the truth has been subverted. But one of the cool things that Trump has done is he's restored biological truth back to the situation. So what's been happening now is a lot of these transformer movements have been getting shut down. Areas where transformers have invaded areas of society are now being taken back by Donald Trump's executive orders. So we'll play some of the clips. Let's start with the one, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children.
Oh man.
Because what they've done is, it's been an insidious thing. What you have in a lot of these groups is you have the basic. Hold on a second before we play it. What it's been is it's a coordinated attack against normal people.
Salake.
Is your camera on? Your camera's
Yeah.
gone off.
Yeah, one sec. You just keep going. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay, cool. What it is it's been a coordinated movement where you've got certain people in the movement who just think, oh, this is just about, you know, basic people's rights and stuff like that. But what you've also got is you've got actual activists, people who have an agenda,
Right.
and they're following it, and it's part of an insidious plot. Now, those of us who are in the know that for a long time, these people in the alphabet community have been targeting children, because what they know is that if they can brainwash the youth. Okay, I'll just finish the sentence and you got it. If they can brainwash the young youth of today, they will grow up in a certain frame of mind to where the next generation will be more of that, more inclined to be of that persuasion, i.e., of the alphabet community. So they're trying to subvert parental authority, and have infiltrated the education system, and have been putting forth a curriculum which actually reinforces a radical transformer ideology, which is why you've got in the modern world now so many people afraid to address a person by their biological sex. Like if you say, "Oh, hello, sir," or "Hello, ma'am," now you can get in trouble because you might so-called misgender somebody, because what this radical gender ideology has done is has attempted to rewrite or eliminate biological truth from situations. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because ultimately it's a lot of men who are in this movement. If you notice, a lot of the transformers are men, and they how do I say this? They actually enjoy crossing boundaries. Like it's like a to use the term fetish for them.
Right, right,
Like
right.
to wear women's clothes, it's like exciting for them for some warped reason. That's why they do it. And then the next thing they do is like to infiltrate and invade women's spaces. For example, going into a woman's bathroom or going into a woman's changing area when they do sports and stuff. So it's been a long, and this ties into the PDF file thing too as well, because a lot of them also like young children, which is why now
Mm,
they're doing drag queen story time in children's schools. You know,
man.
you got to ask yourself the question: why are they going into young elementary schools and twerking and all this kind of shit in front of children? Why aren't they going to old people's homes and reading stories?
True.
You know, so it's been a coordinated thing, but most of the world has been too naive to see what's really going on. But the truth is out there. So you bring out your precept and then we'll play the video.
Khan, and this precept literally backs exactly what you're saying, right? This is Proverbs 22 and verse 6. But hey, man, even the title or the subheading on the blue letter, it says what? On life and conduct, right? So Proverbs 22 and 6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will
You
not
will not
depart from
depart
it.
from it.
So Esau knows this, man. The number is, that the common number that's spoken of is 7, right? The first 7 years of a child's life is what molds them for life, man. What they learn within those first 7 years, after that, it's pretty much, it's almost mission impossible to try and get them to depart from what they learned and the information they gathered in those 7 years, man. So as the brother Kalab said, why is it that they're not having these drag queens and whatnot going into the old people home? Why are they going into the schools and nurseries and things of that nature? Well, that's the reason why, man. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, you not depart from it.
Well said. And it's good that you brought that up, because that's one of the precepts that I had in my mind as well. Because Esau knows how to apply that on the left hand side.
Well, Esau knows how to apply the scriptures. It's just that he inverts it. He's the adversary. All right. So he's anything that the Most High deems good, he does the direct opposite, man. Perfect example. The scriptures speak about having a beard, okay, not having shaving the corners of your beard. What does Esau do? Esau, and he's even got Jake doing it now. It's like the look of beauty, the accepted look is to have that clean shaved, bold face.
Yeah, or they shave off all their beard and they have a really thin little moustache.
Right.
And I see Jake doing that. I think you look fucking ridiculous, man.
Adverse, man.
Yeah, so that's Esau for you. So yeah, this is a good one. We'll start with this one. We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. Because what happened is they got exposed. At their pride parade, they were going around with this chant because they got so emboldened now. what it is, because they've basically bullied society into accepting them so much to where now they've got pride, and they've got bold to where they think nobody can stop them. So here they were at a pride parade, and listen to what they were chanting. Go ahead, you can play it.
Let me see if I can get some. Yeah, I know you can hear it anyway, but I'll get the closed captions as well.
Yeah.
We'll convert your children.
So what they were saying in that
I'll
last
just get off
chant
my
was,
screen, bro.
what's that?
I gotta get this guy off my screen, bro.
Yeah, creepy dude, isn't it? So what they were singing is, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. So this is what I'm saying. It's been a coordinated movement from these activists to get into the education system to push this ideology onto your children. Now, what happens in a society where you've got children that are growing up predominantly LGBTQ of that persuasion? Well, what you're going to find is that's going to bring the population down, because, first of all, the LGB people, they're attracted to the same sex, so they're not bringing forth children. Then the TQ people, if they've had the chemical,
The switch over.
yeah, the chemical or the surgical mutilation to their bodies, they're not going to bring forth children either. So, you know, this ties in with what Esau's agenda was, which is to bring the population down. And a lot of these people in these communities, they act like they're, oh, you know, we just want equal rights. We just want to be treated fairly. You know, we had the same struggle that the so-called black people did, you know, with their civil rights. You know, we just want the same thing. Well, now they've got the same opportunities and rights as most citizens in America, because they can so-called get married now. When we know that they can't get married, because marriage really is sex, and sex is something that happens between a man and a woman. But their next thing is that, well, we're going to convert or brainwash your children into accepting these radical thoughts, identities, and ideas. So you can play the next part of the clip, because what you had is, was it the Boston Gay Choir coming out and overtly saying what their mission statement is. So you can play it.
We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. Just like you worried, they'll change their group of friends. You won't approve of where they go at night to protests. When you'll be disgusted.
So, like, by the way, I don't know why it keeps pausing. My internet's meant to be fast, but it must be Satan, man. But I'll let it play.
It wants us to look at these weirdos more than we have to.
Yeah, nah, it's just bugging out, man. What's it doing? Excuse me. The video don't even want to play.
You won't approve of where they go at night to protests. But when you'll be disgusted, when they start finding things online that you've kept far from their sight, I will convert your children. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children.
Yeah, my internet is never this bad, so
All right,
it must be
I'll
safe.
just say a few things, because there's no new thing under the sun. you know, and the Most High destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah for this kind of behavior. And it's going to destroy Babylon the Great for it too, because what is Babylon the Great also known as spiritual Sodom in Egypt? So it's no surprise that these things are going on.
That's right.
It's not playing, is it?
Oh yeah. Let me try again.
Yeah, so here you have these pride parades, and a lot of the freaks come out when it's around this time, and you've got grown men just walking around butt naked in front of children and acting like that's a normal thing. You know, it's like you could call it what it is, which is really grooming the children to be more tolerant and accepting of these ways of life. You know, and without even the parents having an idea of what's going on, because a lot of what is being taught in the school system, parents haven't been able to have access to the materials that the teachers have been sharing with the children, which is very explicit. Shall we go to another clip of that purple-haired freak and talking about his pronouns?
Yep, let's do that.
My daughter goes to Franklin. She brought home books about how it's okay that two parents are gay in a household, and it's okay for boys to be girls and girls to be boys. What kind of delusion are you guys living in? Are people really retarded? We're still having these talks? Like, what is going on here? Like,
We don't use that word.
no, it's a word. I can use that if I want.
So, like, let me just say something as well, yeah, because what he said, are people really retarded? And then what did you hear? Oh, don't use that word. And that just goes to show you just how soft society has become, where the slightest thing is a major offense. I grew up in a time where, and I'm young, I'm not even an old dude like that, man. You know, but I grew up in a time where, you know, like when you joking around, you know, you in school when you joking around, man, them jokes are brutal, man. No filter. We was racist, man. I'll be real. We was racist, man. You know, you get, you know, you be cussing out Elamites, making all kind of references, mocking accents, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
You know, you know, they you know, and you know, same way we dish it, we take it too, man. You know, you'd have Elamites or whoever saying, oh yeah, but when you guys speak and all this shit. You know, but it was cool. Even when you think about like comedy, what makes comedy funny is the fact that what the comedian is saying is true. No matter how raw and unfiltered it is, it's funny because it's the fucking truth, right? You identifying as a she, her, being a fat Edomite dude with half bald hair and purple hair, which you're going to see soon, right? And then being called retarded for that, my friend, is the truth. That's not an offense. That is the truth. Call a spade a spade.
Yep. Well, we live in a society where they speak evil of the truth. Hang on, I think there's a precept on that.
Yeah, I think Isaiah 59 and 15.
Let me try that one. You might be right.
That might hit, man. Because, yeah, man, the truth fails in this world, man. That's why we're in this world. People like us are so-called insignificant, man. We're infamous. All right? Because we ain't coming in that vibration of the world.
You was on point. This is Isaiah 59:15. Yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey.
Ouch.
And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. Let me read that again, because that's right on point. Yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. So if you spoke prior to Donald Trump's executive orders, if you spoke out against this stuff, you was deemed as evil. You was deemed as being, you know, hateful, you know, and not accepting of people, and, you know, a bigot and all this kind of rubbish. That's why a lot of people, they shut up and were complicit with the lie. Now we weren't
got the main one, brother.
What's that?
You close-minded.
Yeah. I think that teacher goes on, not that teacher, that parent.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
goes
that
on to say
he
something.
goes into it, he does.
Yeah, you're so open-minded that your brains are falling out.
Right. Oh man.
Yes, I can. And yeah, I can't believe people are so open-minded. Their brains have literally fell out. Does nobody know why we had opposite sport teams and opposite bathrooms for boys and girls to protect both sexes from one another? If they want to play some delusional game and we have to allow it, then they should have their own bathroom and their own support, their own sports.
Do you know? I just realized. Look, it's a bit random, yeah, but look at the tattoo that's on his left arm.
I
Hold
just
on.
noticed that as well.
You just noticed that as well. Let me
Yeah.
see if I can catch it.
To protect both sexes from one another. If they want to play some delusional game and we have to allow it.
The so-called Star of David, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then they should have their own bathroom and their own support, their own sports. It's as simple as that. You know, they shouldn't be allowed to women to come and shower in the boys' locker room. I don't want one of these succubuses coming in there spoiling my young gentleman.
What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. Today, guys, we're back here into a new video. Today, we're going to check it out. Purple-haired transgender person versus man who's had enough. Okay, this is going to be amazing. I love us check the video out together. You know how it is, guys. Let's get right to this video.
You say you care about the students,
But look
but
at this
half
thing
of you
here.
are not sure.
Stop wasting your time with methods like e-commerce, trading, and
So like, yeah,
That's all right.
adverts, man. But yeah, what would you just about to say something? Yeah.
Yeah, look at this thing here. This thing here. I mean, it doesn't even know what it wants to be. It looks like fucking the Batman villain Two-Face. You know, like he's got one half of his face all fucked up and the other half is normal. What is it with this purple hair, man? And if you notice, a lot of these people from this rainbow movement, they tend to always have, you know, purple hair or blue hair and be bugged out, man. Now, this thing here is demanding to be referred to as she, her. Go ahead and play it.
God, and if I may add as well, man, you see, if the Lord lets this world go on long enough, man, this is what snowmen are going to be looking like in the near future, man. Bugged out.
You say you care about the students, but half of you are not sure what gender is, especially transgender. I know the lawyer said transsexual earlier. That's not the correct term. It's transgender. I'm a transgender woman. My pronouns are she, her, and I will.
I'm a transgender woman.
It's
My
transgender.
pronouns are she.
I'm a transgender woman. My pronouns are she, her. Earlier, that's not the correct term. It's transgender. I'm a transgender woman. My pronouns are she, her, and I will only accept those pronouns. I will not be addressed any other way. And in the workspace, I'm protected by that. Our students should be too, especially when they're not over 18 and don't have a voice. So I'm just imploring you to go beyond what, just really consider, what is this fight really about? Why is it such entrenched? I know we hear a lot about religious liberty, and quite honestly, I grew up in Christian education all through college. I don't remember any of my doctrinal classes mentioning only male and female, and that's the way it should be. If you feel it is.
What happened in Genesis? He never read Genesis then.
Mm-hmm.
Because Genesis talks about male and female. Let's get it.
Well, what's that? The one about the help meet?
Yeah, go ahead. Genesis 2, yeah.
Yeah, come on. Look at the subheading.
I can't see it on my screen. It's too small.
Oh, okay, hold
The
on.
creation of man and woman there. Yeah, exactly. But they'll want to tell you there's 300 genders. And then when you ask them to name them, can't do it.
Yeah. God. It's Genesis 2 and 7, right? It says, and the Lord, and the Alahayim formed man, because we know that when you go to the book of Genesis, man, you know, it wasn't the Most High Yahweh that was that, you know, well, ultimately, yeah, the Most High Yahweh brought forth creation, but it's about how he brought forth creation. You had Yahweh Shai and the holy angels, the 144,000, the first fruits. Yahweh gave Yahweh Shai the blueprint. Yahweh Shai led the holy angels to bring forth creation, such as man, right?
Yep.
So Genesis 2 and 7, and the Alahayim, which means the powers, all right, plural, not one man, formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
Yep.
So if we jump down a bit, let's jump down to 18. It says, and the Alahayim said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make an helpmeet for him. All right. And out of the ground, the Lord, the Alahayim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, there was the name thereof. So hold on, let's go down to 21. All right. It says, and the Alahayim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh thereof. So his near kin. All right. This could have been a cousin, for
It's
example.
not an actual rib. You know,
Right.
Christians think it's an actual rib taken out of Adam's body. No, it just meant one of his near kin.
Khan. And that deep sleep means that, you know, he was basically, you know, he technically, you know, it wasn't like righteous, because, you know, we don't sleep with our sisters or our cousins, or, you know, but for the sake of the story, all right, this is how it happened. Because remember, the Heavenly Father can do whatever the hell he wanted, man, and this is how we wanted it to play out. Who are we, his creation, to question him? All right.
Khan.
So this is how it went. It says in verse 22, and the rib which the Lord, and amen, even we use that term to this day, man. A lot of you know, like men, when they're talking about their woman, they might describe their woman as their rib. Okay. So verse 22 says, and the rib which the Alahayim had taken from man made he a woman and brought her onto the man. So I don't know what this bugged out, weird, queer ass snowman looking dude is talking about, man.
And there's also, if I can bring out Deuteronomy 22 and verse 5, which says, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Ouch.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. But all that do so are an abomination unto Yahweh thy power.
Damn.
So the Most High knew about all this stuff, and he gave us laws to guide us away from this kind of practice. This is why Jake, who is supporting, you know, civil rights causes which are tied to the LGBTQ thing, you need to stop it, man. Because what did the scriptures say? Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished.
That's right.
You know, and that, actually, you know what, man? That is a very, very important thing that Jake needs to remember. You can't just go and be supporting causes which are against the Most High and thinking you're going to get away with it. The Most High is going to hold you not guilty for that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to the drag queen twerking, or teaching children how to twerk.
Yep.
I would like to do some of those funny little dances from Fortnite.
So hold on a second.
You know, the dance.
This is what they're teaching children in the schools. They're inviting these transformers into the classroom with impressionable young children who don't even know what day of the week it is because they're so young, and they've got these freaks in there teaching children how to be sexual, which is just wrong. You know what I mean? When you're 4 years old, you shouldn't be thinking about twerking and shit. And this is something that, you know, Eve is guilty of too. I've seen
Yeah.
videos on the YouTube of little 4-year-old Jake girls twerking, and where the hell are they learning this crap? You know, it's down to the parents not properly guiding them in the right way. So let's play it.
Right here, just quickly before we play, as we brought out earlier in Proverbs 22, you know, train up a child in the way he should go, and you know, he will not depart from it, man. So that's why there, you know, you have these things, right? Drag queens in the public school system, man.
Who likes to do some of those funny little dances from Fortnite? Does anybody know any of the dances from Fortnite? Oh, then you are a credit to your community. But most of all, Michael likes to twerk. Now, does anybody in this room know how to twerk?
From Michael to Michelle.
All right, well, it's quite important to the story, so I will just give you a very quick demonstration. All you need to do is you just stand with your feet sort of shoulder width apart, like so. Okay, and I'll show you at the side so you get a better view of it. And you're crouched down into this sort of position here, so your thumb's sticking out. Hope you're taking this all in. And then you just move your bum up and down like that, and that's twerking. Now,
Through.
And that's what's going on in the schools. Now, to tie this up, right, Donald Trump has been making a lot of executive orders which have shut down these people. For example, forcing them to have their biological gender on their passports. So even if they want to change their name from Steve to Susan, and want to dress like a woman, their passport will actually show, yo, you're a dude, man. You know, or their driver's license will show they're a dude. And one of the executive orders, which again, Trump's an enemy, is an Edomite, but he's doing some good things, is he's restored biological truth to government. So now, you know, there's no more talk of she, him, they, them, he, her, you know, all these crappy pronouns. Now it's back to the biological. If you're born a boy, you're a male. If you're born a girl, you're a female. And that biological truth has shut down this transgender ideology because they're trying to push it in the schools. Now we'll just read this article quickly from the one from the White House. Yeah, this is the one. Ending radical indoctrination in K-12 schooling. Keep scrolling. Up a bit. Yeah, here we go. So it says, now we just showed that parent who was at the school board meeting complaining about this shit. So Donald Trump's actually done something about it because these schools can no longer push transgender ideology, you know, through their books, through the curriculum or anything else. Otherwise, they're going to lose their funding. So it says, parents trust American schools to provide their children with a rigorous education and to instill patriotic admiration for our incredible nation and the values for which we stand. In recent years, however, parents have witnessed schools indoctrinate their children in radical anti-American ideologies, which deliberately, while deliberately blocking parental oversight. Such an environment operates as an echo chamber in which students are forced to accept these ideologies without question or critical examination. In many cases, innocent children are compelled to adopt identities as either victims or oppressors solely based upon their skin color and other immutable characteristics. In other instances, young men and women are made to question whether they are born in the wrong body and whether they view their parents and their reality as enemies to be blamed. These practices not only erode critical thinking, but also sow division, confusion, and distrust, which undermine the very foundations of personal identity and family unity. So again, Trump may be a devil, but this is one we give him a round of applause for because it restores biological truth back to conversation, and it prevents schools from getting away with this bullshit of trying to indoctrinate your children to be part of the LGBTQ community.
Come on.
And this is, I'm not a father, but even as someone who's not a father, I was vexed because I've been watching this issue for some time. I was vexed by what I saw the schools were getting away with in terms of indoctrinating children. And it's because, you know, high up, you know, you got witches and warlocks who run this shit. You know, the teachers, what do they call it? Committees and boards and stuff. A lot of them high up members, they're for this shit. You know, they don't really give a fuck about your children. You know, they just want to push their agenda. So, you know, that shit needs to be cut out and it needs to stop. And there's one other thing as well. Trump signed another executive order which prevented men from entering biological women's sports. And that's really a slap in the face and a wake-up call for you women, because a lot of you women who thought you were feminists and you know, you champion the feminist movement, early on in your feminist movement, you know what you did? You accepted the LGBTQ community, because all these groups that are marginalized, such as, you know, blacks in the civil rights movement or feminists, thought they needed to be in line with others who are marginalized. But guess what? The serpent grew up and it ended up biting you. So you lost some of your women's rights to transformers. What a shame is that? And then you had to start crying, you know, trying to appeal to Congress to get them to change the laws to uphold women's rights. But guess what? You was sleeping with the enemy from day dot, and then you finally woke up and realized who the enemy was when it was too late. You know. You got
know
anything to say on this?
Man, that goes to show you that men and women ain't equal, man. Because here it is, you know, you women want to scream equal rights and men and women are equal, this, that, and the third. But then now you're having men that are identifying as women coming into female, like, for example, combat sports, and are just knocking your lights out, man.
Yep.
So that's just one of many ways to prove we're not equal, man.
Exactly. That's a beautiful point, man. That should really have humbled the women who are proud, loud feminists saying we don't need a man and we can do it all ourselves. Well, you're not equal to the man. And this situation has proved it. But now Trump's put the executive order in. So we can only pray that this shuts down this radical transformer ideology movement, because now people have woken up to what they are. Because as I said, that video went viral, the one where they're singing "We're coming for your children." So now people are aware of what their real agenda was. So now they're losing momentum and they're losing the support that they once had from everyday people who thought, oh, you know, just live and let live. They're just doing their thing. Well, now you realize that they're targeting your children. It's a different story. But at the end of the day, what needs to be pushed is the Most High's law. So I'll read it again, Deuteronomy 20 and verse 5, because in the kingdom, we're not going to have these problems. And these problems stemmed from an incompetent leader. You know, Esau's not fit to judge the earth, rule the earth. He doesn't even know how to govern things. He doesn't even know how to define, you know, what a biological woman is or what a real woman is. So this is Deuteronomy 22 and verse 5 again. It says, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination unto Yahweh thy power. And another thing as well, I'll say this briefly before I give it back to you. When we talk about the laws that say you shall not mar the corners of your beard, there's a reason why the Most High made a man have a beard, because it differentiates the sexes.
Facts.
You know, so that's why it's important for a man to show himself a man, you know, and not be effeminate. So these laws, when you really understand, why did the Most High put that in the law? Why did he put that? Well, it was done with wisdom, because it avoids grey areas like what society has been for the past, 8 years or whatever, while they've been pushing this shit. Now biological truth has been restored. and that's, you know, that's where it should be, because at the end of the day, a lie can only stand for so long. You know,
Right.
the truth will always come out in the end, and we're at the end now. So it's good to see the truth being promoted.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to say?
I just want to bring out this precept here. This is Isaiah 19:14. It says, "The Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof," which means to error in every work thereof, "as a drunken man staggereth in his own vomit." So it's actually the Lord that's mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. And we know that Egypt, you know, the house of bondage, all right, modern day Egypt would be America, man. And these videos that we showed you came out of America. I think the drag queen one, judging by his accent, that came out of the UK.
Yeah.
But UK is pretty much, you know, UK gave birth to America.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
follows after what America does.
There you go. And even before that, because remember, you know, it's not like Edomites always inhabited the land of America, you know, nor did they always inhabit the land, you know, the European land either, you know, but they was here in Europe before they was there in America. All right. So, you know, that perverse spirit is in the midst, and it's even here. You know, if we continued further on in that video, you would have seen, you know, a bunch of people just literally butt naked. But we have the same thing that happens over here in the UK, man. You know, so it's like you have to be careful. You know, when you're saying things, you can't say things blindly, man, because you know when you go out in the world and that, and people want to talk about equal rights and things of that nature, and oh yeah, just let him be, and oh just let, you know, yeah, they're saying that.
Live.
But then there's exactly, but then there's the actual action of doing it. You're telling me I should have no issue with this dude or this female being a mole, knowing that I'm gonna one day be in London and have to, I might just bump into 1,000 people on a bike or walking around completely butt naked, man, all because I should just let Timmy be. And oh, his body, his choice, so that fucking bullshit, man.
May I say, would you mind, before we close, just play the end of that clip so they could see just how what do they call that? Is it depraved these people are?
Right.
Degenerates, man.
Degenerates.
Degenerates.
Yeah, here it is. Let me bring it to about. This shit's crazy, man. I'm out.
And look how many women are supporting this shit. There we go.
Hold on. What did it say on that board? Life is short. Play naked. Be bare. Be proud. But pride is actually one of you know, one of the top sins.
What the Christians call the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, what the Christians call one of the 7 deadly sins, man. But it's a sin nonetheless. The Most High hates the proud look. It tells you that in the book of Proverbs, man.
And they've got the audacity to put the rainbow there.
Right.
Right.
Even that the whole idea of a rainbow, that's been tainted, man. You know, really, if you see, you know, we wear garments to camp, but they've tainted it so much to where it's like if a brother, you know, had a garment on and had a rainbow in it, man will be looking at him like raw.
Look at him sideways, yeah.
You know? But really the rainbow symbolized a covenant between the Most High and Noah. That's in Genesis 9. You know, telling, you know, that covenant was you know, the fact that the Most High will never destroy the world via water, you know, flooding it out by water again. That's what the rainbow signifies, man. But now the rainbow is used to justify these fucking pasty ass men and women just walking on the street butt naked, man. Crazy.
And they've got children supporting this stuff.
Go on. You know what? Let me just say this is actually a nightmare, man. 'Cause I don't know about you, yeah, but when I was younger, I used to get this dream where, you know, I'd like be in school or like in church or something, just butt naked, man, and I'd feel ashamed. I'd feel ashamed, man. I'm like, you know, I'm looking around, everyone got their clothes on and shit, and I'm just here, just butt naked, bro. And that was a nightmare. But not now. This is a reality, and people are willingly doing this shit, man.
Yeah. And look at this freak here in the Bugs Bunny mask. Now that's just creepy, man. Because when you think about cartoon characters, who do they really appeal to? Children. So what's he really saying with that?
Right. It's just all weirdoism, man. And this is the kind of behavior that, you know, people wanna when we're fighting against this, man. You know, we're the bad guys, man. That's why the brother Kalab read the scripture. Yeah, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey, man. Here it is. We're speaking out against these things, man. You know, like, imagine you walking out and you just seeing this dude, man, wearing rainbow, you know, armbands and shit, just butt naked, man. This is crazy. You know, and even got Jake.
Yeah, look at him. Jake out there bearing it all. Now, this is the thing. This is why, going back to the first thing we said earlier on about what do you call it? Them tying the civil rights movement to this LGBTQ thing. Isn't that a travesty? Because is that what we were when Jake was fighting just to be able to, you know, vote or, you know, get their own home or whatever? How the hell does that tie into guys being able to walk down the road butt naked in front of children?
Can't.
You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, man. But this is what we're up against, man. You know, and that's why, hey, man, we're you know, Yahweh Shai couldn't come soon enough, man, because this shit is crazy. You know, certain Akim got children that they have to bring up in this weirdo world, man. Here it is, they're being taught the truth at home, but then they're going to school and they're hearing a whole different ideology, man.
Yep.
You know, and Akim, and even, you know, you sincere Aquaf, you know, this is the shit we got to deal with, man. You know, that's why Micah 2 and 10.
That exactly what I was just going to bring out.
You got it.
All right, this is Micah 2 and 10. It says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction." So we've got to depart from this place mentally, spiritually, and eventually when Yahweh Shai comes back, we're going to depart physically. You know, but we really are at the end of this thing. And, you know, it goes to show you that the things written aforetime are written for our learning, because what we're seeing is these people reincarnated doing what they were doing before.
Right.
You know, because when the Most High destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, what do you think those people in that city were doing? Similar things, which is why they've got the term sodomy or sodomites.
Right.
So they're back in their lot doing their thing, but, you know, they're not going to be doing their thing for much longer, because the way the prophecies are shaping up, it looks like the Most High is ready to pull the plug on this place pretty soon. So, you know, we have to suffer these things in a moment, but our salvation is nearer than we believe, because it can't really get much worse than this.
Can't. I'll just bring out one more precept before we go, right? This is Ecclesiastes 8 and verse 11. It says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully setting them to do evil. Yeah, because you got these guys, you know, but when was this video produced, man? This video, 1 minute. This video is 1 year ago.
Yeah, 1 year, not that long.
26th of June, 2020. It's June. You see, I said it's in June. Right? That's the same time you're going to be seeing this happening here in the UK, right? So because this has happened, you know, coming up to 2 years now, and you know, I'm assuming unless these guys ain't dropped dead because of whatever, they're still walking about the place on their weirdoism, you know. So their heart is fully setting them to do evil. Okay, it says in verse 12, though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear the Most High, which fear before him. All right, but it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before the Most High. Now, when you read Psalm 73, you know, that's the Psalm of Asaph, and, you know, he was going into how he was envious at the wicked, man, you know. But then, you know, when you read the latter part, it talks about, oh, but then he went, you know, he remembered their end, that surely the Most High did set them in slippery places, man. So it's like, you know, because really, you know, we're righteous people. We're here trying to live righteous in a wicked world, and that comes as a, you know, that comes with its own struggles, man. But when you're living wickedly in the wicked world, you know, all the opportunities are falling at your feet. You know, you got the best health, your money's good, you know. But here's the thing, man. All right, the Most High has set them in slippery places, man. All right, because when the Most High comes with his wrath, when he comes with his judgment, which by the looks of things is going to be very soon, then, you know, they're going to be, hey, man, flattened, man.
Yeah, and there's not going to be no remedy.
Right.
You know, they're going to be destroyed.
Oh, I have to bring out one more priest. Just because you said that, man. Just because you said those two keywords, destroyed and remedy. All right, because what we're doing with this knowledge, with this information, is that we're reproving. All right, but people don't like rebuke or reproof. All right, so this is Proverbs 29:1. It says, "He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck," meaning he becomes stubborn, right? Shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy, man. And that's what's going to happen with these bugged out weirdos that we've seen in the and anyone that follows after this kind of alternative lifestyle, man, they're going to be destroyed suddenly and without remedy.
Yeah, it's interesting you use the word lifestyle there, because really all they're bringing forth is death. They're not really living.
Well, the scriptures say that all they that hate me love death.
Love death. Yep.
So there you have it, man.
Khan, I think we can wrap it up there. That's pretty much concise in terms of what I wanted to say on that issue. We had a couple more things, but I can put them in another video another time. Anything else you want to say?
That's it for me. You know, I think we hit the point with that one.
Khan. All right then. So with that, we'll close out. So Lord, it's been edifying to those who are watching and learning. So once again, we give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, who taught us this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect destined to be saved. And Lord willing, we will catch you on the next lesson. Lord willing, it was edifying to those who were watching and learning. So yeah, shalom for now. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.